So Kenny, here we are in my backyard. It's been a lot of years of playing golf together, and you with Southwest Greens. You know, I've been a part of them for a long time, and people are always looking for, you know, how can I make my game better? Well, I've had a couple of greens with you guys, and just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. First of all, what's the biggest mistake people make when they, other than not coming to Southwest Greens, what's the biggest mistake they make in
So the
backyard?
biggest process is obviously the base and how we design it. So the base is the most important to get it right.
Right.
So once we bring in the quarter minus, we put the cups on top and we roll balls, make sure you like it.
Yeah.
You know, and go from there.
Well, let's talk about, you and I have been, you know, players, we've taught.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to that, I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm saying, I want at least one putt that's 10, 12, 15 feet that's pretty much dead straight.
Correct.
And then I want a little left to right and a little right to left. And past that, you know, I think people get into too much stuff. I mean, you put enough greens in, you know what they want to do and then what ends up not working.
I do. You know, we don't make greens that are Mickey Mouse,
Okay.
per se. You know, I want you to have a little bit of left to right, a little bit of right to left, you know, and a 4-inch tier, so you can get to your upper tier, and they have a little bit of movement, and all flat in the bottom.
Obviously, if somebody was going to put a green in their backyard, if Jack Nicklaus was going to do it, he wouldn't go with somebody that didn't do a very good job. And I know I've been in his house, I've been in his backyard, I've seen the green he has there. It's unbelievable what he's done there.
Yes, sir.
But back to another question relative to normal. How big a green do people need? I mean, you don't need to go 2,000-3,000 square feet and spend thousands and thousands of dollars.
No,
I mean,
not
what
at
does
all.
somebody need?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is, in terms of the installation process, is creating the best roll, which we do. So we don't use any nylon products at all.
Okay.
We're polypropylene, polyurethane backing, and polyethylene, polyurethane backing on our fringe.
Okay.
We can get as fast as you want.
And so it
And then you
doesn't.
can slow it down too. So no nylon products whatsoever.
Oh, that's awesome. So a lot of players, a lot of companies use nylon products,
Yes, sir.
which then obviously heat or cold or whatever.
So
And
the problem with nylon is it contracts, expands in the heat. So encroachment over the cups after about 4 years is there.
yeah.
But we can slow this down if it gets too fast for you as well. And nylon you can never slow down.
Well, see, that's the other thing I liked is the green I had in my other house. I mean, we could get it really fast. We could slow it down.
Yep.
And the other thing about chipping to it, because of what you guys do with on top of the base, the pad you put down, it's realistic. So you hit chip shots to it, and the ball reacts like a real green,
Correct. Yep.
rather than it
Yep.
bouncing on concrete.
Exactly. So we use 5mm cushion, and that's what we put on top of our base, and then we install the turf. So
So that
that's
cushion
what we're
keeps
doing.
the sand from compacting.
it
And,
does, and it helps with a better roll as well.
okay.
Yeah. So
So then really, the size of the green, I mean, it's what people's budget affords.
exactly.
I mean, you can go as big as you want, do as much as you want, or you can come down to maybe a 100 square foot green and get plenty out of it.
Yeah. And knowing you, as long as I've known you, we like a little flat.
Yeah.
So we can work around the cup a little bit.
Right.
You know, and then, but we still want a little bit of left to right, right to left.
Yeah, see, that's all I want. I mean, like I said before, I want whatever length straight putt I can get, 10, 15 feet, great. And then a 3 to 6, 8 footer that's got some right to left and left to right. Past that, that's all you need to work on.
And I'm kind of picky when it comes to these greens because I want you to have a little touch putt coming off the upper tier.
Yeah,
Where you got to play it outside the hole.
yeah,
You know,
oh yeah.
Turns in. So I do it on both sides.
Seems to happen on the golf course quite often.
Doesn't it?
Well, Kenny, listen, thank you so much for putting it in. We're going to
Thanks
keep
for having us.
We're going to keep looking at it, and we're going to keep filming different parts of the process and give them
sir.
some more information on it. And this is awesome.
So this is Marco. Marco's our head foreman. He's done thousands of putting greens, and he's really good at what he does. I call him the artist.
So this base is, like you were saying, this is really what he's doing.
That's the most
This base
important
is
thing.
the most important thing of the whole green.
Yes, sir.
Because if it doesn't come out right when you put the grass on it, whatever you put on it, the green's not going to react correctly.
Correct. So when we get the base compacted and everything, we'll put the cups on top, and then we'll roll a ball. And then
So then
make
you
sure
can
you like it.
So before you ever put the grass on this, you get this smooth enough and you get it down there where we can check out and make sure we got the right amount of break, we got everything we want.
And then if we need to tweak it from there, we'll tweak it. But he's pretty good.
Well, that's awesome, because like I say, you know, we've got not a really big area here, but I can get everything I need done relative to playing or teaching in this little area right here.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't need, like I say, I think some people are afraid of doing greens because they think they need something really big.
We check with the customer all the time.
Yep.
We approve all the breaks and
the cup locations.
Do you ever get
that's the
customers
biggest
that want, when you're going, I don't think you want that?
There's been times.
There's like, give me a 2-foot tier in this
And
green.
Marco, he'll speak up. He'll look like, we don't want to do that.
You don't want to do.
Yeah. So, but Marco's awesome at what he does.
Well, and the value too you guys put into the backyards. I mean, when somebody has this, I mean, relative to not having it, and especially here in Arizona where people are all playing golf, it's a pretty nice way to use this part of the backyard.
I think we're kind of known for the best roll. That's why all the tour players come with us,
Right.
because it rolls perfect. There's no wiggle. You know what I mean?
Well, when I first started, you know, when I first came to you guys, this is like 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
All of the putting greens, I would roll the ball, and I wasn't so much the first initial part, but when the ball started to die out, most every single one of them, when the ball would start to die out, it'd start doing this. It'd start wandering.
Yeah.
And you guys were the only one where I rolled it, and when it died out, it just kept its line. And, you know, and every single lesson I give, because the golf swing starts from the putting stroke.
Yes, sir.
And if you can't putt, we talked about this a minute ago, you can't play. I mean, I just played in a tournament this last week, and I've played in it 20 some odd times, and I really hit it good all the time down there. But all of a sudden for this time I putted well.
You played good.
So I played well, not because I hit it that much better, but putting just makes up for so much.
And that's why you need a Southwest green in the back of your yard.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, chipping. No, seriously, chipping and putting. If people improve their short games by 20 or 30%, their scores come down dramatically. So, when it comes to golf courses, the shaper of the golf course is probably one of the most important. Marco here, I mean, this is serious art, because he's going around here, and what most people would say, oh, it's flat or there's not, he can feel in his feet. He's moving those rocks and raking that so it has just exactly the amount of break. So when they put the green on top and they fill it with sand, then you've got exactly what you want. This is not something you can just come out and do on your own. And 90% of companies don't have somebody like Marco that's been doing this for so long that can feel exactly relative to what he's doing, because you have to feel it in your feet, or you'd have to get a level out here and go all around. He's doing it with, we told him where we wanted the break, how much break we want in degrees, and now he's raking it out to make sure it's exactly perfect. Like I say, this is thousands and thousands of greens, and it's an art form. So now they've got all the crushed granite down, and they've shaped it exactly kind of where they think they want it. Now they've got to come in with these big heavy rollers and really compact it and smooth it down, so then we can put the cups in and we can see if we've got exactly the break. So this is an unbelievable process to make this really what you want.
So this is the final process when we set cups. So we always roll balls with the cups on top before the turf is set. Obviously we're going to have cushion here underneath the green, but make sure Mike loves the breaks and everything.
You know, this is about 15 feet. It's going to break quite a bit to the right.
Yep, I like that.
This one's going to be uphill, break a little bit to the right. So I've got that putt that I need.
Marco. Roll that ball. You're the artist.
Yeah.
The designer.
I've got this putt right here, little downhill.
A turn, yeah.
Right to left or into the hole. Come on in, go ahead, just roll.
All right, homie.
Roll it down towards that one. So now we've got a little longer one with a little more break to the. So now basically what we've got here, what these guys do is, you've got the base, you've got the green. Now we're seeing exactly how the ball is going to roll on the green and how much break we have to deal with. Because what I've seen in a lot of greens, and you can probably tell me, you go back and they either don't have enough break or they've got way too much where they're really not usable.
Correct. And that takes away from the square footage.
Yeah, so then this green gets smaller.
Yeah, exactly.
So too much break, the green gets smaller. So this is awesome. I love where they're at. And these guys have moved the cups and we've moved them around, so we've got exactly what we want. I think we're ready to go.
So we got long straight. All you gotta do is say set them.
Set them.
There we go.
Now we're putting the final touches. Now here comes the grass. So now if you watch these guys, it's really important. Again, you look at the time they take cutting the grass and making the seams work just right and fitting it all in together. You know, and this is when it really starts to look like a putting green. But there used to be an old comment, if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. So they've done the really, really hard work underneath that you can't even see. Now they add the top dressing or the grass so it plays and looks like a real green. And they take just as much time with this to make sure, like I say, again, the seams fit, that the grass is pulled back just right. They're the fibers, and then they fill those fibers so they don't lay down and get compacted. So this whole process is incredible. And without that precision, you end up with something that doesn't play as well. It doesn't look as good. This is going to look so good when you see the final product. It's incredible. So I'm getting more and more excited to get on it and actually hit some putts. So here we are at the end of day one. It's amazing how meticulous these guys are and where they've got this green today. Now, tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to see the final product when they get the green speed up and they get everything right where we want it. Southwest Greens does such a great job. I'm excited to have this and be able to use it every day. So now we've got the finished product, Southwest Greens. You saw how good that ball rolled. Here's the deal with what this is. If you watch that ball the whole time that it was coming down, it was rolling. Even as it lost its speed at the last little bit when it fell into the hole, the ball wasn't wobbling. So now I've got as good a putting green here as you're going to find on any golf course. Plus I can change the speed. Now right now this is rolling at about 9.5 or 10. I can get a roll or out roll it, get it up to 12, 13. I can take it wherever I want. I can pull it back to 8 or 7. I can do whatever I want to do with the speed. I've got a chipping area, which what they do with the chipping area is a little bit different type of artificial turf. And so it reacts like real grass chipping. And then I've got the fringe, that's another type of grass, which allows another type of shot that you're going to see on the golf course. So basically what I've got here is access to everything I need in my short game. Now, if you're really serious about playing golf, you want to have access. That's the key. 24-hour access when you want to practice and you have time without having to drive a long ways. So if you're serious and you want to really get the most out of your game, look at Southwest Greens. Put a green in your backyard. You can work on your short game, which, by the way, is where you're going to make the biggest improvement in your scores.